Greetings to our viewers. Today we are going to look at vocation. What is vocation? A vocation is different from a career. When we talk of Christian vocations, we don't mean a job or a career. It is the way God invites you to love and give yourself to others. It is not simply the giving of your skills, services, and expertise, but the giving of your whole self as a path to holiness. So, as we know, we have different vocations, but all of them are divine call to love God and neighbor without reservation. Let us look at different vocations in the Catholic Church. The vocation to married life, this one everybody knows about it. Building up a family. We know the one of single life. We have religious life, and this religious life, there are those that are priests. We have brotherhood, we have sisterhood, and we have monks and nuns. These are those that live in the monastery. But in our world today, priesthood vocation are commonly known by the Christians. On the surface, the vocations of priesthood, religious life, married life, and single life seem quite different. Don't you think so? Yes, they may look different, but all these vocations have something in common. And what is that? Commitment to love. So all the vocations within the church are centered in love. And I like what St. John Paul II explained concerning this. He said that love is the fundamental and innate vocation of every human being. So no matter where you find yourself, you are called to love. You are called to commit yourself to love of Christ and love of neighbor. So another point we will look at is God's call to individual. God calls you personally. He didn't call you with someone. He calls you as a person, as a whole. And we can see this in Old Testament and also in the New Testament. So God is interested in you personally, and He calls you personally. So many times in the scripture, we see God calling individual men and women. In Genesis chapter 6 verses 8 to 22, you see how God called Noah. Also, Genesis 12:130, you see the call of Abraham. And also the same Genesis, you will see the call of Sarah. And when you go to Exodus chapter 3 verses 1 to 4, you will see the call of Moses. And in 1 Samuel, you also see the call of Samuel. God called Samuel when he was sleeping in his master's house. Samuel thought it is his master Eli that was calling him, and he went to answer Eli. But since his master understands and is a man of spirituality, he was able to know that it's God that is calling Samuel. And Samuel answered, "Here I am, Lord." But the one that charmed me most is the call of Jeremiah. If you read Jeremiah chapter 1, you will see how God called Jeremiah. The word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah saying, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you came to birth, I consecrated you, and I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." But looking at if you read Jeremiah chapter 1, you will see how God called Jeremiah. the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah, saying, Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you came to birth, I consecrated you, and I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. But Jeremiah, looking at himself, he saw himself to be a small boy. But the Yahweh made him to understand that he would be always with him. And Yahweh said to him, Don't say I do not know how to speak, I am a child. And from there, God continued to assist him to answer this call. In New Testament, during Annunciation, you also see this divine call when Mary was called to be the mother of Christ. You find this in Luke chapter 1, verses 26 through 38. And also in Matthew 4, verse 18 to 20, you will see how Simon Peter and his brother Andrew were called by Christ to follow him. And you see how they answered this divine call. They left their net and followed Christ, who turned their lives from fishermen to fishers of people. And Christ is still there to do the same for you and for me. And also, we see a special call of St. Paul, when he was going to Damascus. We saw how he received the light of Christ and got converted from persecutor of Christians to a preacher of the good news. You can see this in Acts chapter 9 verses 1 to 20. And I still like what Pope Francis said. He commented on this personal aspect of vocation. He said, In calling us, God says to us, You are important to me. I love you. I count on you. Jesus says this to each of us. So now, I want us to look into Marist Vocation. Marist Brothers of the Schools is a pontifical institute within the church, founded in the year January 2nd, 1817, by a French father named Saint Marcelin Champagne in Laval, France. The founder gave us the name Little Brothers of Mary when he founded the institute. And in the year January 9th, 1863, the Holy See approved the Institute of Marist Brothers as an institute of religious brothers of pontifical right. And at that process, the church gave us the name Marist Brothers of the Schools. That's why sometimes you see us answering Little Brothers of Mary and also Marist Brothers of the Schools. This is how it came about. Our founder gave us that name, Little Brothers of Mary, but the church, looking at our apostolate, gave us the name Marist Brothers of the Schools. Now, as Marist Brothers, our mission as brothers is to make Jesus well known and loved in our world today. We achieve this mission by giving ourselves to evangelization and education of children and young people. Not just that, we do this especially to those who are poor, most in need, and living on the geographical and existential peripheries. Now, let's look at admission into the Marist Brothers of the Schools and also formation of the brothers. In our admission process, we have what we call vocation encounter, which simply known to be come and see, This is where you come, you see how brothers are living, you observe whether you as a young boy or young man can live this life of Marist Brothers. So from there, if you see that you have that zeal to serve God in Marist way of life, and also the brother sees you as someone who is capable, then they give you admission into the institute. And from there, we have stages of formation. We have first stage called Postlancy. This Postlancy is where you start to live, to learn how to become a Marist brother, and also how to become a religious person. And the duration is 2 years. From that, if you are approved for the next stage, then you go to where we call novitiate. This novitiate stage lasts for 2 years, and after 1 year you go for community experience. And after that community experience, then you come and complete your 1 year. So to crown this stage, the novice apply for first profession. If the application is authentic and is approved, then you do your first profession. That is taking your first vow as a religious brother. From there you proceed to ongoing formation, which is called scholastic, that will last 4 years. These 4 years you embark on formation and also academic studies. As you are doing your formation, you are also studying. You specialize because for us, we are more in education of the youth, and you cannot educate when you don't know. So you study in order to educate, in order to carry this mission to youth all over the world. So it will last for 4 years. Then after that, you go back to your province where you will continue to discern your vocation. And your to crown this stage, you apply after 2 years for your final profession. That's where you make your perpetual vow to remain in the institute. So I'm here to encourage you as a young man full of energy to come. The door is always open for you to come and give yourself to service of God through education of the youth. So for us, we are in many countries. In Africa, we have Southern Province, we have Nigerian Province, we have West African Province, and Pache Province. These are to enable young ones who are ready to join the institute to have access to come to knock at the door, so that the door will be open for you. So thank you. For more information, you can drop your comments, and also don't forget to like the button. Thank you.